I suspect that this relationship will deteriorate publicly as well as privately, as it's happening right now. All right, speaking of God, God is not working through one man. God has left one man behind. His name is Elon Musk. Let's talk about another major L, another major crack in the Trump dam. I'm, of course, talking about the special elections that took place yesterday. 2 in the state of Florida, and both of those were obviously deep red districts, and they went to the Republicans. If you look at the Florida special elections, the Democrats lost, predictably, but they lost by basically half the margins that they had lost to Trump by. So it does show momentum against Donald Trump and against the Republican Party in general, even in deep red states, in deep red districts. So that's interesting to take note of. Having said that, there was also another special elections that took place in Wisconsin for the judicial race. The Supreme Court of the state of Wisconsin was about to either continue being a liberal Supreme Court with four justices that are liberal and 3 that are conservative, or 4 justices that are conservative and 3 are liberal. There's 2 candidates that went up against one another, and Donald Trump spent a shit ton of money. Or not Donald Trump, sorry, Elon Musk, apologies, spent a shit ton of money on that race. And given the tendency for Democrats to show up big in special elections, especially because they've captured the attention of high propensity voters, given the tendency for the party in charge to lose special elections in general, especially if they are unfavorable, as is the case with Donald Trump, the Wisconsin judicial race ended with the Democratic-backed candidate winning. Let's take a look.
Turning now to some very rare good news for Democrats. A clear victory for their candidate, Susan Crawford, for a crucial seat on Wisconsin's Supreme Court. She beat out a Republican who was closely tied to President Trump, and the election was also seen as a test of political power, the power of billionaire Elon Musk, who spent millions on the race. Ed O'Keefe has been following it all for us. Ed, they said it was Elon's money versus liberal anger, and I guess the anger won. Good morning.
Yeah, anger beat cash this time. Good morning, Tony. This was viewed as one of the first major political tests for President Trump and his coalition since he took office. Elon Musk and his America PAC poured more than $20 million into the race, and he made a high-profile visit to Wisconsin, rallying support for conservative judicial candidate Brad Schimel, and as you see there, personally handed out million-dollar checks to 2 voters. Schimel embraced the president's endorsement and Musk's donations while stating he wouldn't be a reliable yes vote on the bench for either if elected. While Crawford made a point in the closing weeks of running against the Musk money. Her victory secures a liberal majority on the state's highest court. Although mega donors aren't new to politics, this became a rejection of the world's richest man and his attempts to sway an election in a key state. And Musk.
So, as I said yesterday, I predicted that this would go the way of the Democrat-backed candidate because of the reasons that I mentioned, high propensity voters and their likelihood to go out and vote in special elections, as opposed to low propensity voters, which make up a big chunk of the base of the Republican Party, which, come out in major numbers during general elections and handily gave Donald Trump the electoral victory, but also the resentment that they feel towards the party in power versus the complacency that Republicans feel when their guy has won. I did the thing that I wanted to do. I went out and I voted for you. You won. What more do you want from me? And here's the thing. There was an additional factor here at play that I think made the margins of victory for the Democrat-backed candidate way higher, because it was likely that she was going to win, but not by this margin of victory. And the reason was Elon Musk. As I said before, a couple things that I predicted was that Elon Musk is patently unlikable, just a truly disfigured, horrifying, monstrous type of person with a weird accent and is entirely too neurodivergent for average normies to look at and go, yeah, I like this guy. If he didn't have the trifecta of things that the average American, especially in the middle of the country, despises, perhaps he could be a little bit less of a burden on these races. But he is quite literally all of the things that are cringe. He's incredibly cringe. He's not charismatic at all. He is neurodivergent, but not necessarily in a way where it's like, oh, this guy's brilliant, but neurodivergent in a way where people look at that and go, you can't finish your sentences. I don't know what the What's going on? You're stuttering all over the place. These are optical things that American voters care about. He also is a billionaire elite, and people don't really like when billionaire elites are directly trying to impact elections. But last but not least, he's also too foreign. He is a foreign billionaire elite that is trying to personally manipulate the outcome of an American election. He is everything that people claim George Soros is doing. That's it. And while Twitter might glaze Elon Musk in ridiculous ways, Twitter is not real life. While us living in liberal enclaves might see the worst of the worst of the Republican MAGA base, blue enclave right-wing reactionaries who love Elon Musk, the average American's attitude about Elon Musk is not so hot. And that is reflected in the polling data anyway. But that was once again solidified last night. I think Elon Musk's physical presence on this race and his direct interference was a major burden. And it was very important for Elon Musk to actually win this race, because Elon Musk's time in the administration is predicated upon a couple things. One, direct cash infusions to the Trump administration, to the Trump campaign, to Donald Trump in general. But more importantly than that, Elon Musk presented himself as a attack dog for Donald Trump. Elon Musk stated time and time again that he would spend endless amounts of money on primaries against Republicans who actually dared to step out of line with Trump's agenda. Elon Musk wanted to prove himself in this space by going foolishly to Wisconsin to prove that he could spend endless amounts of money on a Wisconsin race, a Wisconsin special election that was more costly overall than a senatorial race. Think about how insane that is. And last night, he failed in spectacular fashion in a way where every analyst basically reported Elon Musk's presence in this race was a giant burden for the Republican Party. And I also predicted last night that this would be the turning point between the relationship of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. While Donald Trump, I said, would most likely still, quote unquote, defend him publicly, but not to the same severity that he used to, it's over. Their relationship is done because Donald Trump can't stand losers. And it turns out today that's already being reported on. As I said last night, I said the first real moment for the Trump-Elon split, he can't stand losers. It turns out there's already a political reporting on the matter. Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave soon. He's so fast with it. Now we wait for the relationship between the Divas to deteriorate publicly. The copium and the sea of this celebration for the Democratic Party came from Elon Musk, who said, "I expected to lose, but there is value to losing a piece for a positional gain." There was no value. Elon Musk is coping, and it seems even his fan base is not eating this up. That's the situation in Wisconsin.
Became a lightning rod amid his ongoing attempts to dismantle parts of the federal government. Also Tuesday, down in Florida, they held two special elections for House seats to succeed former Congressman Matt Gaetz and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. As expected, Republicans easily won in the ruby red districts, but Democrats cut into the larger margins the GOP had enjoyed last November. Keeping these seats was key for Republicans as they attempt to pass more of the president's agenda. There are now 220 Republican seats, 213 Democratic seats, a narrow margin in a party that has known to have a few no votes, Gail.
All right, we're paying attention, Ed. But before you go, yesterday, you know this, Senator Cory Booker made history.
Yeah. I don't care about this shit, okay?
We have breaking news right now. Sources tell ABC News Elon Musk could be taking a step back from his role in the administration. Musk is classified as a special government employee, which only lasts 130 days. But it's been widely rumored the White House could take steps to extend his role. Let's bring in ABC News senior reporter Catherine Falders for more on that. Catherine, what are you hearing?
Yeah, so we know what Trump has said publicly here, but the timing of this in terms of what our sources are telling us that Trump is saying privately to advisors today is significant because, of course, it comes on the heels of that Wisconsin Supreme Court race where the Democrat there won. And we know that Musk poured millions of dollars. Musk and his groups poured millions of dollars into that race. So significant that Trump is saying this behind the scenes, but also important context to this is just a couple days ago in the Oval Office, Trump was asked very specifically about Musk's status as a special government employee, that 130-day limit. And Trump did indicate on Monday that Musk would be taking a step back in some way. Trump said he thinks that Musk is amazing. And he said, quote, but I also think he's got a big company to run. And so at some point, he's going to be going back. He wants to go back to his company. So essentially, Trump indicated there that after that limit was up, that Musk could be taking a step back.
Trump was shielded from criticism by the cult of personality. Musk represented an outlet for Dems and disgruntled Republicans who would otherwise not criticize the Trump admin, a lightning rod for criticism. Well, he's a lightning rod for criticism because he's also incredibly annoying. I need you to understand something. He is unimaginably boring. He's gross. He's a freak. He doesn't have Trump's charisma. He doesn't. Trump is at least telegenic. He's zesty. He has a passion for the things he cares about, like Broadway musicals, Cats, Phantom of the Opera, Andrew Lloyd Webber. These are things that you can associate with him. Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. He's a telegenic figure. Elon Musk doesn't have any of those qualities. He just has a bunch of the dumbest people on a platform that he purchased, riding him into oblivion. He doesn't have any of that shit in the wild. It does not translate to real popularity. You cannot purchase real popularity this way. That's why a lot of these autistic billionaires hide in the shadows instead of constantly trying to narcissistically make themselves the forefront of these companies, okay?
Now, look, some of Musk's defenders, according to sources that we're talking to in the White House, say that it's overblown that Musk is being pushed out. And look, we're not saying that he's being pushed out. He could be taking a step back. You and I both know.
Yeah. Also, Elon Musk is here contesting the White House narrative. Initially, they came out that was like, no, he's taking a back seat. Like, it's normal. He was going to. With Caroline Leavitt saying, this scoop is garbage. Elon Musk and President Trump have both publicly stated that Elon will depart from public service as a special government employee when his incredible work at Doge is complete. Yeah, exactly. Elon Musk has lost his lifeline, okay? Everyone is saying that he's departing, and he's like, oh, it's fake news. I'm departing because I'm leaving. You can't fire me. I quit. That's what this is. But it's not enough. It's not enough. We need more. Because Elon Musk and Donald Trump, in some ways, are cut from the same cloth. They are both narcissistic, thin-skinned man-children who are very stubborn and have a lot of pride. Therefore, I suspect that this relationship will deteriorate publicly as well as privately, as it's happening right now. Because once Trump recognizes that Elon Musk's attack dog, pit bull attitude at the behest of Donald Trump will not serve Trump's agenda, when Republicans call Donald Trump and say, please don't send Elon to our, special elections or whatever, he will have no more use for Elon Musk. It's that simple, especially when Elon's unpopularity moves beyond being a vector for all the hatred, like a shield, because everyone is too focused on Elon Musk to shit on Donald Trump, into a genuine burden for Trump's administration and his agenda, as he has become now the singular nuisance. Trump is going to have to cut him out. They will either demand that he keep paying his way quietly and in private without making much of a hassle or without saying anything publicly, which I don't think Elon Musk will comply with. After all, this man is so narcissistic that he has to do his own announcements. He has to do his own product announcements. He thinks he's got Steve Jobs' charisma. He does not. So he won't just give them money without, being while being relegated into the shadows. He will want to also keep speaking out. And the more he speaks out, the worse the outcomes will be, because association with Elon Musk is an immediate indication of corruption and billionaires interfering with American politics in ways that Americans clearly don't like. So I think Trump will have to cut or sever the ties publicly at a certain point.
Know that Trump has lots of advisors inside the White House and outside the White House who he talks to every day and seeks advice from. So that will still continue. But in terms of Musk's employment status and it being up potentially at the end of May, that is obviously what seems to be a little bit uncertain at this point. And it is important context that Trump is indicating behind the scenes that Musk will take some form of step back here.
So could Musk stay with the administration, but in some other capacity?
Look, anything is possible. This gets back into our discussion about his status as a special government employee. I'm not sure, at least right now, that he will, unless the White House extends that in some way or he goes somewhere else in government. It appears that his status as a special government employee could be up at the end of May. But that, again, doesn't mean that he won't be advising President Trump. Trump isn't saying behind the scenes that he's soured on Musk. In fact, he remains satisfied and pleased with what Musk has done across the government in terms of cost cutting, despite it being challenged in the courts and despite the pushback here. So I'm sure he will remain a voice in President Trump's ear, regardless of what happens here in the next few weeks.
All right, senior reporter Catherine Falders, thank you.
Amazing.